Almost 6 months ago now, I found out I have chronic pain syndrome. One of the first things I did when I found out was look up chronic pain syndrome. There are many articles on it, but I still wasn't satisfied. Chronic pain syndrome affects so many people, and no one is talking about it enough. So I wanted to make this video to help people understand chronic pain syndrome, and maybe even help someone in a similar situation to me. Before I get into this, I want you to know that I'm not an expert, but my body is an expert at making pain, so I'm very experienced on the subject. If you search chronic pain syndrome on Google, this will pop up. Persistent pain that lasts weeks to years. From what I know, chronic pain syndrome usually lasts for a minimum of 3 months and can last years. Treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. This can be a very defeating fact, but it's true. I'll get back to this later in the video and explain a few ways to treat it. First, I want to explain why we experience chronic pain. Here is the brain of a person who experiences normal pain. Let's say this is Lucy's brain. Lucy gets a paper cut. A danger message gets sent up to the brain saying, "Help! Danger alert!" And then the brain will process this message and decide what to do. Your brain will recognize where it is, the severity, other times this has happened, memories attached to this injury, what you know about this type of injury, etc. These are like little sparks in the brain set off by the injury. The brain will then send a message back down to the area of the injury. This is called acute pain. This pain has a purpose. It tells us that there is something wrong and that we need to tend to this injury. This pain is useful and is necessary. Now we understand acute pain, let's talk about chronic pain. So here's Bob's brain. Bob has also gotten a paper cut. A danger message gets sent up to the brain saying, "Help! Danger alert!" Just like with acute pain. Like acute pain, the brain will start processing the messages. But unlike the brain with acute pain, this brain will have a much bigger reaction. More like explosions being set off in the brain, rather than little sparks. Therefore, Bob here with chronic pain syndrome will experience a much more severe reaction. Chronic pain syndrome is often triggered by an injury, like a back injury. For example, a person might have a car crash and have severe pain through their back. Perhaps there is surgery needed, rest time, physio, but once the injury is treated, the pain still continues without reason. Acute pain goes away once the cause is treated, but chronic pain is ongoing and continues without an injury. Chronic pain syndrome causes an unnecessary pain. It is not needed. Seeing physiotherapists, I've heard this being called an oversensitized nervous system. When you have chronic pain syndrome, your nervous system is much more sensitive to pain than it should be. So here's what we know. Acute pain is pain that has a cause and goes away once the cause is treated. Chronic pain is pain that is ongoing with no cause. Now, every case of chronic pain syndrome is very different. Different levels of pain in different areas, and different causes for the pain to have started. I'll tell you a bit about my story to help you get an idea. My chronic pain story goes years back. Growing up, I was bullied in school constantly, and I wasn't happy at home at the time. So when I started prep, I would constantly feel sick and would often vomit. Gross, I know, but it happened. By year 3, I had very bad anxiety, which resulted in experiencing very bad heartburn, and I would get headaches 3 to 5 days a week, and would often be taken out of school. This is what is called a mind-body response. I was very anxious, I was stressed, and I wasn't coping. And so my body manifested my emotional issues in heartburn, an upset tummy, and headaches. This is a mind-to-body reaction. Problem in your mind, creating a reaction to your body. Starting high school, my anxiety got worse, and I was eventually diagnosed with depression. My headaches became worse, and they became chronic, meaning I experienced big headaches every day. After years of looking to find a miracle to get rid of my headaches, I went and saw a physiotherapist who specialised in headache treatment one morning. The physio assessed me, did some work on my neck, and then sent me off for the day. By the afternoon, I was having stabbing pains down my neck and back. By that night, the pain was excruciating. I had intense pain through my back, neck, and shoulders. I was in and out of emergency for a few days, and after a few weeks of searching for answers, waiting in pain, we found out that I have chronic pain syndrome. The pain that I experience is due to emotional stress. I am a teenager with anxiety issues, severe depression, as well as other mental issues. My brain hasn't been able to cope with my emotional stress, therefore it manifests in chronic pain throughout my body. There is a lot more to my story, but that's a pretty good outline of what has happened. Chronic pain syndrome is not needed. It is unnecessary. If you have chronic pain syndrome, you are not to blame. The pain is real and it changes the way you live. You are not to blame. So now we understand this pain. What can we do about it? As I mentioned before, treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. But here are some things that I have found helpful, and some other things that I know other people have found useful. Aquatherapy. Getting into the water allows you to become weightless, so getting into the pool and floating is great, as it allows you to get off your feet and allow you to hopefully get a bit of relief and allow your muscles to release a little. If you feel comfortable enough, you might even want to do a few laps, just walking slowly. You might even get to the point where you can start doing little swims. I went to the pool every second day and just floated. I remember the first time I did it, I felt like I was in heaven. Physiotherapy. This has been a huge part of my journey, and it has helped a lot. Physio can and probably will hurt more, but just try and be patient and you will get results. Socialization. Having chronic pain syndrome is a very mentally challenging thing. It can flip your life upside down and can be very isolating. Being able to talk to someone, whether it's on the phone or having coffee, having people to talk to, might help you feel more connected with the world and can be a nice mood lifter as well as a good distraction. Pacing. This is one that I struggle with, but has helped me and others with chronic pain syndrome. Pacing yourself is important. If you're able to walk 300 steps a day before you have to stop because of your pain, start with less steps and add on steps each week. Pace yourself and create small goals to reach. I struggle with pacing myself because I just want to rocket ahead and push through, but you're not going to be helping yourself if you rocket ahead and then can't get out of bed the next day. Distractions. Listening to music, talking to a friend, petting your pet, reading, watching a movie, or playing a game. Try to do something to get your mind off of the pain. Again, it's hard because it is such a big part of your life, and the pain is always there to remind you. But if you're able to distract yourself, you might be able to get your mind off of the pain a bit. Distracting yourself can also be good for things like physio. For me, sometimes my physiotherapist will get a whiteboard and we'll play hangman or listen to music while I'm doing gym ball exercises, just so my focus isn't always on my pain and my movements. Very useful. Again, with all of these things, not everyone is going to find these useful. It takes a lot of time and effort to find things that work, but in the end, it is so worth it. For me, I started doing things that have initially helped, and then after a while they lose their impact. And with other things, it will take a few weeks or even months to see a difference. Chronic pain syndrome is a very life-controlling disorder, and it takes a lot of effort to get through it. I hope you all do well, and please share this video around to help people understand chronic pain syndrome and to help others dealing with this disorder. And just a reminder, I'm not an expert. However, my body is an expert at creating pain. Thanks for watching.